All right, Coach, here we are. NCAA Championships, June 7th through 10th in Eugene, Oregon. It's always the highlight of the collegiate season. You guys have 8 individuals, 2 relays. I know your goal on both sides is to finish in the top 25. But overall, before we break it down, the group that you're sending, which I guess with the relay folks will be about 16 to 18, they got to be fired up to be representing their university and their program on the biggest stage in collegiate track.
Yeah, we've taken more people before, but for as competitive persons in the seedings of the events, it's been a while since we've been have that many people, and returning people that are not graduating. It's a good group, and they did well in the conference meet, they did well in pen relays, and they did well in the regional. So it's a kind of continuations. We had a little disappointment in losing Tyler as one of the mature athletes. Other than that, we all our mature athletes made it to the meet.
I talked about it a little bit with TT, but I want to ask you as well. It really seems like the confidence of this team has built ever since SEC Championships, and maybe even a week or two before that, hosting meets on your own track. But SEC Outdoors was so successful for you guys, and it really feels like as a program, everybody's walking around with a little bit extra measure of confidence. Why do you think that is?
I believe in feeling good about yourself. My mother always said, dress good, look good, perform good. I think the addition of our new facility, the commitment from the institution, gives our kids that jolt. And it helps our coaches, it helps our kids. And just when other people came here and walked down that aisle of the commitment Carolina has to athletics, I think it sends a message to the rest of the league and to our kids. You are special, you're somebody, and I think those things carry over into when you travel to Oregon and you travel to Kentucky, you are the same citizen. And that's what our university has done in athletics. It's our facilities here they're not second to anybody, and those things make our kids feel good about themselves. But when you travel and you go to places and everything is just incredibly nice, and you don't have as nice a stuff as many times people say stuff is not important. People are. Stuff is important.
Sure. I want to ask you specifically about some of the individuals that are going. We'll start on the women's side. You got 2 jumpers, Rugi in the long jump and Tasha in the triple jump. Tasha, of course, has already finished on the podium twice at NCAAs, and Rugi was very close indoors and certainly a candidate outdoors. Tell me what you're expecting out of those two to get those extra couple of inches to not only set school records but also to end up in championship contention this week.
No, they're high-level competitors, and they're high-level athletes, and but they're in the field of the best. There are many Olympians and kids that are going to be there this summer that are going to be in London at the World Championships. So in those events, those athletes have to be on top of their game. So it's just not just being a great athlete. You got to manage that contest, and I think they did a good job at the regional meet, and they've done it before. It's like Michael Jordan. He's done it before, and once you've done it, it gets to be where that you know what the expectations are, and you don't fold whenever you have a foul or a wind blows you up too close to the takeoff. They make adjustments that coaches can't make, because that's like having you're out there and you got to do it. The younger athlete looks to check and starts finding excuses in that it's raining in my face, but it's wind at their back.
Sure.
And that's kind of what a mature. It doesn't matter. Whether I'm a senior or a junior. When you've been there before, you understand. You're all in the same age bracket. Nobody has an advantage. You have to take in your situation, and you have to come through. And I think that's what these 2 athletes can do for us.
On the men's side, you might not have anybody that's a better candidate to win the whole thing than Ty in the high jump. I think he enters as the #1 seed with his 7.4.5 that he jumped at Penn Relays. I know you think the surface at Eugene is something that really fits the way that he jumps. What do you expect out of Ty this week?
Well, this is his first time. The crowd Penn Relays probably should have prepared him for this, because Eugene will be a full house. There will be 15,000 people, and it's closed in, and the announcers understand the event, so there will be attention to him. So I'm so glad that we went to Penn, such it can set him up for this situation, because most meets, even the SEC, it didn't have that number. It had his home crowd right there in front of him, put a little pressure on him. So I expect him to be a podium guy. I mean, he has the ability to be the champion. First time out is a matter, can he manage the crowd's expectations? Can he relax? This is the first time Coach D cannot get close to where he's performing, so it means the coach's box is away from it. So there's some things that we have to prepare for in the first 2 days out there to get him to get lined up, such that he can get the signals from the coach to make sure he's moving back and forth. So it's important. I think his teammates, Tasha, will be able to help him manage some things. Sometimes our athletes help others relax and understand it's going to be okay. It's your first shot at it, but we expect it. We'll handle it. You'll manage it.
In the shot put, I know Josh was dealing with a little bit of a nick at regionals, but still managed to safely make it through. And then in the 200, TT ran his second best time of the year in finals at regionals. So both of those guys are healing up, especially Josh. And I know that both of them are podium candidates for you.
Yeah, no, Josh. Josh is amazing. I mean, it's still the case of having been there. And counting on yourself. I never had a doubt in my mind that Josh was going to, even injured, I knew Josh at the regionals would advance to the national meet. He would find a way to make that shot. He knows what 12th is. He knew what the mark was to get into that position. He got done what he has to get done. He's not going to foul on it and stuff. A younger Josh makes the error. That's why we redshirted him, and early on, now he's a junior, and he's managed the meet. He's been to Oregon now at a junior meet as a redshirt. He's been there now as a sophomore in college, and he ended up being an All-American when he was there. So now his junior year there, I expect him to manage this meet, injured or not. To be one of the ones that make the final throwers, and then how it goes determines on his wellness.
Last one for you, Coach. You set the goal, top 25 for both programs, and you've got enough people to get that done. Overall, what is your message to the team as you deplane from Oregon and as you get set for 4 days of competition to hopefully accomplish that goal of being among the top 25 programs in the country?
They're the beginning of the future. I think this is a return for Carolina, and I think the country realizes that. Top 25 is not someplace. If you asked me 10 years ago, 25 is not where I want to be. But we had dwindled to that position, but you have to start someplace getting back to the place. And I really think our message constantly to this group of people, you're going to remember this later on. We were the ones that put Carolina back on the podium. We probably don't get to the podium this time, but this is the group that sets up getting back into the Final Four a year from now. And then what happens after that with all these great facilities and with the indoor complex. And I like to see the latter be the greater. I think that Carolina's future in track and field becomes one of the premier programs that it was many years ago. And that's the message to these kids right here. The expectations are not for you to take us there today. Greatness doesn't happen today, but greatness happens in a day. So any day can be that day. But I think right now we start greatness.
Should be a lot of fun. Best of luck, and we'll talk to you after each of the 4 days, Coach.